Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, hello.
A big week ahead of us, fam. So I'm gonna wait a few seconds, let everybody check in, and we're just gonna hop right in because I don't want to waste too much time. Everyone who got here, everybody has things they have to do. Just be sure. All right, cool. Just a lot of tariff updates over the weekend. I know I'm not the only one who's been seeing the headlines, so it should be interesting. Should be.
Yeah, definitely should be a good week.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. I'm looking forward to it. And let me see something. Just set me to change here. Oh, so all right. I'm just gonna go ahead and just hop into things as people roll in. Just get going from there. So by watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There are significant financial risks associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. Let's just hop right into things. How we finished on Friday in terms of options flow. Now, so on Friday, it looked like a lot of options flow went into Tesla calls, AMAT, AMD, Meta, and SMCI. Interesting. A few of those are semiconductor stocks, semiconductor related, right? And on the put side, they were shorting Nvidia, MSTR, Apple, Affirm, and IBIT, another semiconductor related stock down the bottom, one of the biggest, right? For the week, for the full week, the top call options flow went into EEM, Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, TSM. On the put side, they were shorting MSTR, AMD, IBIT, ASML, Netflix. Let's see. Let me make a few notes here. 1 second. See, gotta take some notes. Made my notes. And let's just move right along. All right. Okay. So I didn't update these slides over the week. I forgot to update these slides right here. So what I'm gonna do is I do want to still highlight the team because I thought the team did a really great job this past week. And so I'm just gonna drag the options wins up there, because y'all were killing it, man. And I love to see the team just making things happen. We had some new members in there, and I just love to see it. So let's just go ahead. We're just gonna do it like this. We had some really good some nice trades in here. This was a nice trade too. Cliff, 120 to $690. That was a 400 and something percent profit. On that, almost 500% profit on that trade. Just to happen to open this up. Here's a SPY put, new member. Shout out to her. 300. Let's see. That's what I'm saying. She just joined last week. I think she said this. She said, "Look, this was the first week First week.
Antoine, we still see the other screen.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you, KK. Thank you. Y'all know my saying, if I ain't paying attention, we all crash and burn. So thanks, KK, for letting me know that y'all couldn't see the screen. See, paying attention. All right, so I'm gonna do it like this. All right, cool. All right, so cool. Like I said, it was a nice trade from Cliff here. And here we go. All right. So, oops, sorry. I wanted to start with remember. So yeah, she just started. First week in the group with a little nervous. I was a little nervous, pulled out early, but I'm grateful. Thank you, Solidified. So she made a nice profit though. I thought this was a nice profit for first trade. Her SPY put, I'm sorry, QQQ put from 300 to over 700 or something dollars. Nice trade on that one. There's KK. So this was just for everybody to know, this was a trade that I alerted and on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday heading into the
Going into
close.
Thursday.
Yeah, so we got this little running thing. Whenever I'm somewhere on a vacation or somewhere trading, I'll say trading from away from my workstation, we end up getting a big trade or whatever. So and yeah, so here we go again. Nice profit on this trade. This was a pretty big profit on the QQQ puts. Went from this KK, she turned this almost $300 into almost $2,000 for over a $1,600 profit. Pretty nice on this one. And you see it was pretty consistent across the board. You got Ian Weaver, he came in and killed the same trade, making over $1,000 in profit on that one. Miss Marilyn came in, on the same trade. Everybody was in there on this trade making some money. It was a lot of people making money while I was out of the way. Shout out to Fonz. Shout out to for understanding the assignment. It was a pretty decent move on QQQ. Now, if y'all came to the meeting last Sunday, then y'all already know the vibes. You already knew 450 was a level that we were holding around. Like if we lost 450, we already knew that it was flushing metals and it did everything it needed to do. So shout out to everybody who took the trade. I didn't call out a lot of trades this week, but I called out just about two trades or whatever, and a few bonus trades too. But we had another trade, also another QQQ play. Well, hold on, no, that was something different. Sorry. Here we go. Another QQQ trade here. This was another one. Really nice profit. Another new member, Jazz. Yeah, Jazzy. Shout out to her. Turned under $300 into over $2,200, almost $2,300. A nice substantial profit. I love to see it. Love to see it. Women in here following the process, making that money. Nice profits here, more nice profits, QQQ, pretty big profits here. So okay, so then we had this was a nice profit too here from Juice on SPY. Nice almost $300 into over $1,400. I am currently here, QQQ trade. Yeah, we had so anyway, I'm not gonna go too deep into these. I was just going through a few of them just to show y'all what was going on. We killed it as usual. Not to really, yeah, we had a nice amount of profits here on these on the QQQ trades. And here we go again. Another big trade from her. Jassy killed both sides of the trade. Just nice profits. I love to see my sniper's going to snipe. One thing sniper's going to do is snipe. Look, Jassy, I got to call her a sniper, man. She just come in here. She been killing it like a sniper. Look, $1,400 on the day. Appreciate you, Solidified. Came in, killed the call. Look, turned her almost her 371 into over $1,100, almost $1,200. Then came in, turned her 187 into over 300 and something dollars. Strat Ops came in there, did the same thing on the QQQ, about $200 into $800, and the put turned like 350 into almost $1,000. Just came in there killing a profit. This was a bonus trade right here from the tippers picks or whatever. Shout out to Slick. He killed this trade, 330 into over 2,200 for almost $1,900 profit. Burnt that down, understood the assignment, So yeah, shout out to him on that one. So again, we had a lot of people in here killing these trades. Raj came in here and burnt down Tesla. Nice trade. What was this? You see, hold on, what was this? QQQ. Yeah, the QQQ trade. So yeah, it was just a bunch going on. I'm just going through this a little bit, just going through it a little bit. Here's my guy Jason Stacks or whatever. Shout out to him. He burnt both of these trades down. This was a QQQ call trade. This was another, man, we killed that QQQ trade call trade too. 200 and something dollars up to over a band. Yeah, hold on once. Yeah, he had two of them. Okay, gotcha. And here is another one, the same trade that I alerted as a bonus trade though. He turned $370 into almost $2,300. Anyway, I ain't gonna go through some more of these. Y'all see the vibes here. Go KK, she came in and killed this trade. QQQ call, man. When we get into these types of trades, man, I'm just, the reason I wanted to go through this and go through it in depth a little bit is just to show y'all, like, it's a lot of people in here that are actually following the process and making money. And I'm gonna tell you, some of them, no matter how often you see them in the chat, in the options wins making money, you see them also a pattern that most of them follow is outside of just following the process. We'll talk about that, but not too much. But they ask questions in the chat. They don't mind pulling me to the side or asking in the chat, like, look, I know this was the level you said or whatever, or just asking me some questions about that trade. Now, depending on what type of questions they ask, it may garner another chart, an updated chart, whatever the situation is, if I'm able to do so. But if I'm not, there's snipers. We got some snipers in there that will speak up and let you know exactly what to do. So, if you want to start seeing more profits, being able to hold the trades longer like they are, you got to ask questions. Nobody gets a pass for not asking a question. I don't care. Like, I come from a place where I ask questions. Shout out to Tyler too, man. Nice trade on this one too, Tyler. Tyler, he one of those guys too. But the thing is though, all I'm saying is nobody is exempt from, nobody is too above asking questions, so ask those questions and that's what you want to do. You just want to make sure you're asking questions and just following along. It's good and sometimes to make sure you get the right answer or whatever you're looking for. Paraphrase, give us something to work with. So, because think about it, during market hours, all of us are in trades. All of us are trying to shoot the general. So we locked in. This is practice time right now, or when the market's closed or before it opened. That's time when we can answer some questions, not just right before it opened, because we getting things together, but after the close or during these types of sessions, these are when you can ask the questions that you really needed the answer to. But if you're going to ask questions during war zone, make sure you give us enough information so we can help answer your question, not just like is it too late to get in this trade, or questions like don't get me wrong, you can ask those questions, but it may require more context, right? Should I get out of this trade? Or I like those price target related questions if it's a situation where but like I said, but just make sure everything is in context. Like if I'm so just be careful with that. But I just feel like the more questions you ask, the better. There's no reason why a lot of people aren't making as much money, but we got these snipers in here and we like to walk price down. So we will talk, somebody start asking the right questions about price action, man, we walking it down together. You know what I mean? Those types of questions, if I'm around and I'm available, those are the type of questions that make me want to spin up a stream and say, okay, let me just get on a stream. I'm typing too much, or I can't answer that question the way I want to without starting a stream. Let me do that. So you got to ask those questions because everybody should be making that money, and don't get me wrong, everybody that made money, shout out to y'all. But I'm just saying, like everybody else, not specifically like new members, because new members, I feel like some people are like, damn, I just made $500 and I ain't had to do nothing but take profit in the morning. That's more money than I make an hour at any job. So I'm satisfied with that. Now that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. And then everybody got their levels, and you got to think about it. Think about also, because I mean, we all got this in our heads too. When you make a certain amount of money, your head there's certain things that go through your mind, right? Until you get comfortable with it. Whether you're risking your own money, or you're using house money. If you buy a certain amount of contracts, right, it's going to do something to you. When you buy a certain amount of contracts, something happens to you, right? It I can't really explain it, but like I always tell the story, the first time I bought 10 SPY contracts, and we were buying at the time. There wasn't a trade that I was alerting that was like under a certain under 500, right? So it was just, so we were just, it was the first time I ever bought 10 SPY contracts, and I remember how it made me feel. So I modified that because I didn't like the way it felt, how uncomfortable I felt being down 15% or dropping 10%. So it didn't make me feel good initially. So until I got to that level where I was comfortable putting out that type of money, right? So just throwing that out there. And then even also when you're profiting, like you turn a little bit of money into a lot, right? And then you see like, damn, the stock is still running, but damn, I just made $2,000 in a few minutes. Some people don't want to lose that money. Like, I'm going to take this money. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying if you're just jumping out of trades because you don't know what to do, and you would have stayed in longer if you asked a question, and you know what I mean, and you got out nowhere near the target, then I have a problem with that. You know what I mean? So that's where those questions come into play, and the right questions. Or like, I see that you have a price target right here, but what am I waiting? Should I get out here, or am I waiting for a retest, or things like that? Because if you ask those right questions, those are open-ended questions and stuff like that. Because if you ask me like, is it too late for me to get into this trade? I can say no. But what does that mean? How much further you have to go, or can I? Should I get out of this trade? Yes. But or no, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not enough information. I can answer those are closed-ended questions. So just throwing that out there, just as there are ways that we can that you can get more information and get the answers that you want, so you can maximize the profits that you're making around here, right? So just wanted to throw that out there, so we can start this week off the right way. And again, just everybody, just think about it like that, man. It's just, we a team. We're gonna make some money together, and it's a reason why we're just making a lot of money around here. It's a reason why we're doing it. But I like it when the way the team works together. I like to see that. I feel like we make a lot more money when the whole team is locked in together. So yeah, but we're gonna have a great week. Like, we've been having a great year, great month. So just to update the year totals after last week's profits. So from January, actually I didn't, yeah, I did. So for the night, so the 9th was last week. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was the last day I alerted the trade. So yeah, so from January 2nd through April the 9th, one contract per trade alert delivered a net profit of $23,424. Again, that's net profits, one contract averaging over 178% profit per trade, with a ROI of almost 10 bands. Oh, I'm sorry, almost 10%, almost 10,000%. Sorry, on the 250 membership, and over 13,000% on the 175. And again, this is just we just starting Q2. We at the top of Q2, right? But yeah, so just I ain't gonna go through these too much, but yeah, I'm just breezing through the profits, because I read every month. These will be updated here and in the profits ledger, so everybody can keep track with us. So you see, January we cleared 4,600. February we cleared over 8,400. And again, these are single one contract per trade. That's why, for people who are just new here, that they probably see a lot of our posts on Threads or all the time, just talking about oh, one contract. And the reason that's a flex to me is because, it's risk management is everything. The reason I was able to fire my job so many years ago and be able to do whatever I want to do and live the life I want is because of risk management. You're gonna lose sometimes, but I see a lot of people on threads on Twitter and social media, they're being transparent about their losses, which is great, But I'm like, damn, don't be an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you buying that many contracts and you don't even know how to trade, or why are you buying that many contracts or I see people spending, $2,000 to make $400. I'm like, that's not a good risk to reward ratio, So I'm saying that I'm putting you in a play that's where you're buying one contract and you turning into the amounts that you're making. I'm not saying that you can't buy more than one contract, but I'm saying if you did that following our strategy, you're probably making a whole lot more money because we're buying at key levels or at most opportune times for you to make maximum profit on these trades. So again, if for people who just following this process, they making a lot of money. For the month of March Madness, shout out to March Madness, we cleared $6,100 per single option. And then so far in April, right now, we are at 3,600. So at $3,600. And again, I only alerted 2 trades last week. So yeah, so I was just but I did so we cleared $3,672. Again, we already cleared, and this is just the beginning. I still feel like this is the beginning of the month because almost midway through the month. Yeah, because we got 30 days in this month and we're off Friday for Good Friday. So but yeah, so we already on the 250 membership, over 1,400% ROI and over 2,000% ROI on the 175 membership. So again, we burning it down as we normally do. I updated the tippers picks. So again, everybody knows we have tippers picks or whatever, where I give bonus trades out to people who showing extra appreciation. So I only did one bonus trade last week. And that we're right now, only one bonus trade, and that was the SPX trade. And again, that was like a $1,900 profit on that particular trade. So that take us up to over 16,000 for this month. For this month, $16,000 for just the bonus trades program. So we were burning that down, and we're gonna continue to burn it down. So the reason I wanted to make, like I talked about this last week, but I wanted to make a separate column for this because nobody ever get to see how much money we really be making on those, because I only count the trades that get alerted in the chat to everybody in the call outs channel. So for our actual profit, so I had to make something separate for this, just so, because what we be doing over there is crazy. So it's just something to be it has to be documented somewhere. So that's why I'm showing y'all this too. But yeah, so let's gonna move on. But yeah, so we're just gonna talk a little bit, man, and then we're gonna go right into things. So like, a lot of, we get, since we have a public server and there's a free side of the server, we get a lot of questions sometimes about, what should I do, or just a lot of questions. I get a lot of DMs on social media, and I probably miss out on a whole lot of conversions because of how I respond to certain questions. I feel like if you ask me too many questions about it after you see, like, we're pretty transparent about everything that goes on here. And if you join the free side, you can see every single trade that I've alerted over the last few years, because it's in the ledgers, and I got them documented. So you can go look at all of that. You can look at the options wins and see what the members in here are doing. So when I get a whole lot of questions, I just feel like, look, I'm not trying to sell this community, like the reason we post our profits, we do whatever, just, I made this community, started it just to kind of help everybody to make money and to fire their jobs if they wanted to stop working for them people, then they could, right? So, but when I get those questions, like a whole bunch of like, well, what should I do? Or, do you do this, or do you do this? Or a whole lot of, I'm like, two reasons you get a lot of those questions. A lot of people don't like to read and stuff like that. So that's a red flag, because then you won't read the start here channel. And that's your onboarding information. Every member in here should do that. So the reason I started this and I asked like what the community's worth is because what is it worth to you? That's what's important. It's like if it's worth something to you, then you're gonna spend money. If it's worth something to you, you're gonna study. If it's worth something to you, you're like, damn, I see these people doing this. Like you go to the gym and be like, damn, I see this trainer, they got everything I want for real. So if I just follow their process for 30 days, I can at least start that process. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do exactly what they say for 30 days. I ain't gonna make no modifications to it for 30 days and just see how it works out. You know, and but you think about then, but then when you realize on that road, you realize all of your cravings or your shortcomings that get in the way from where you are to where you need to be. Like, you know, you got an urge to, some people smoke, some people like to eat sweets, some people, you know, they just, and it makes them do other things. So now you've fallen off that path. So then 30 days coming around and you like, well, damn, this process isn't even working. But everybody else in there, they're working it out. So when something is worth it to you, you kind of focus on it and you lock in on it and you be strong. You know, you gotta have some discipline. Same thing here, because I always say whoever you are as a person will bleed off into your trading, right? So what is it worth to you? So some questions I won't answer too much. I'll be like, look, I ain't trying to sell you this community. If you don't see the worth by now, then you know I don't know what to tell you. And I probably answer a lot of DMs like that. So I probably don't. So I'm not really. It's not really about the sale, because most people who join this community, they stay for years, and that's for a reason. Obviously, it's for a reason. So yeah, so that's still what it's worth to you. If it's worth something to you, don't just think you're just gonna come in here and spend some money or book a coaching and just do everything, and that's gonna make everything work for you. Because if you book a coaching and you ask certain questions, I'm gonna direct you right back to where the answer is, even in the coaching. But it'll make it easier in the coaching because I'll do it in another way, right? And I'll help you out get to where you are. But I'm just saying. But think about it. We've condensed the onboarding materials so many times just to kind of make things a little easier. But I'm like, man, I never learned how to play Call of Duty, right? Because it's weird using a controller to shoot and all of that. Like when I can go to the gun range, I know that's off topic, but it's not. Or you see all of these women, they talk about, like, they online talking about, you know, what this person doing and what, you know, baddies, and they could tell you everything about this stuff, even stuff that ain't never aired. But you can't take 5 minutes to go into the start menu and look around. Like it's just your directory, right? So I know you can actually do it. That's why I gave you them other examples, things that I don't have time to do because I'm doing this, right? So if you just took the time to, every time a new member joins in the public lounge, it brings up a message and it tells you exactly over and over again, like, you know, start here, here's the trading Bible, but start here. You know, before asking questions, go to the start here. It just got revamped. So everything is there that you need to see, you know, to kind of get started, right? Just start there. If you just start there, you'll be ahead of a lot of people who are in the community, right? Just starting there alone. It'll tell you, even new members who didn't even sign up yet, you got it'll, if you start up the front, you just go into start here, right there. It tells free members what to do, everything. So when I get members about, you know, questions about membership and stuff like that, I can see, like, Miss Marilyn came in here, and I'm gonna use her an example. Shout out to her. She just started like a few weeks ago. She came in here, went right to where she needed to go, and started doing what she needed to do, and started making money right away. You know what I'm saying? A few members came in here and do that. We can always tell who's not doing that. And if you want access to more stuff or want more information, it's there. But you have to go and follow the process, you know. And this is seriously, this is a career to anybody. So it's a job or career to anyone who wants it to be that. If you just want it to be some extra money, that's fine too. But imagine how much money you can make if you just followed the process. We burning it down every single week. But just don't let your ego get in the way of asking questions and helping you get to where you need to be. And then another thing, feedback from women traders, right? Some of the best traders in this community, top performers in this community are women. And some of them went into the shadows and stopped talking as much because of it was so hard for, like, some of the male members to take feedback from them. And it's sad because some of the women are great traders, right? And if you can't take feedback from a woman or something like that, then that's a personal problem, but as a trader, there's some great traders in here that are women. So if they give you feedback, take the feedback. If you ask a question and they give you a response to it, and take the feedback, don't reject it because it came from a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of that going on in here, and I just want to just point it out. Like, just don't do that, because you discourage them from wanting to speak up, and they're making their money. They burning it down in here. So just we got some women traders in here, and they're part of the community, and they may outtrade you. So you learn something from them. So like I said, if anybody tell me something, I'm listening. But and if you got anything, you got any feedback or whatever, or you see some setups or whatever, share that information with the team. That's we can make more money when we work together. Shout out to Juice. It was Juice. KK, who was all in the chat the other day?
Juice and Drew. I think Curly does it popped in there a little bit, but it was definitely Juice and Drew. I definitely shout out to them on that QQQ play.
Yeah, walk that price down, and so that was pretty good. I like to see stuff like that. Y'all don't know how many more people made money off of that because y'all were in there talking that price action. So like I said, everybody who always say, I want to be a sniper and all of this other stuff, well, snipers aren't afraid to put their neck out there. You know what I'm saying? So let's just do more of that. KK, did you want to add anything or say anything?
Yeah, that particular trade was a phenomenal trade. Juice and them, they was really walking it down, and I was watching the trade as well. And I saw everybody, because we watch the chat often, and I kind of know how traders move. They're like, I could see when everybody was getting ready to start sweating. Like, because when you see the profits and you're like walking it down now, and you might get a reversal, so now do you know whether it's a reversal or a retest? So at that particular moment, um, when I saw them kind of like, they was like, all right, we look good, like pigs get slaughtered. Like when I see things like that, then I know, okay, they ready to take profit. But it was a hard rejection right on that hourly on that next candle. I was like, yo, it's this a hard rejection right here. Now that's when I got in the trade, because I was like working and stuff like that. So I came in when I saw that, that's when I got in. And QQQ flushed after that. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people, I don't know who sold, because I really didn't see people post their contract for that particular trade. But I really wish that like they would have said something or asked like, what you doing? I'm sorry, yo. I don't know why my phone.
Okay, I can hear you.
But yeah, basically I just like, yeah, that trade was crazy. And it was a real, but I really loved what they were doing. They were talking to each other, and I think, like Antoine said, it helped people to stay in the trade, and it helped them also, because sometimes you're looking for additional confirmations and things like that. So that's why we got to work together as a team. So that was a really really good example of us working as a team, because then, and I know some other people had got in at that time too, because that was like the major flush. Like, it was flushing all day for real, but it was that retest, and it shot up to the 90 EMA real fast, but then it completely came all the way down. I said, oh yeah, it's go time. So so then, like I said, that's when I entered the trade, and it flushed like another $7-8 after that. So that was like a really good trade that day. And we only had really the two trades this week, and they were both QQQ. And that one, the
But
Friday.
look,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but no, but go ahead. But I mean, but being able to identify like the market shifts and everything is important too. And but go ahead. I'm just saying. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. No, that was all I really wanted to say about that one. The other QQQ trade was really good as well that Friday, or that was Thursday. And I know people got shook out of that trade because it didn't give you dump for you to know which way the stock was going. And that's, that's part of learning and us, getting better every day. Like I study. So and I'm a sponge when it comes to Antoine and watching how he moves in the market when we're on Zoom, when we're talking. I'm trying to eat up everything. So when we saw, it Tyler came in, big shout out to Tyler. Tyler came in the morning and said, look, we looking forward to lose 450. So, that's then Miss Marilyn, even bigger shout out, came and posted the chart in the chat. Like, yeah, these levels still hold because it gave us both directions. And she was absolutely right. And the levels did hold.
Yeah, so no, yeah, shout out to her too. Shout out to Tyler too, because then Fonz came in and asked a question, and Tyler was like, "Yeah, I'm watching that 450," and I saw Fonz, he held on to that trade and made a nice amount of money on it. And but the whole thing is like, so when Miss Marilyn, she posted that chart, I guess she screenshotted it from the probably from the meeting on Sunday, and it had all of the levels on there that was needed after 450, because we talked about last week, if it leave 450 was important, was a key level, and if it lost that level, we was flushing metals, we was going to likely retest that 441. That was a nice that was the next area. It was just that was where we were going, right? So yeah, so shout out to her for that. And just again, just make sure y'all like shout out to Drew too for asking a question, for coming in and asking a question for the chart. So that was that's exactly what we need, more of that, because then that chart wouldn't have got posted, and then y'all wouldn't have gotten all of that information. So that was great. That was great. Like I said, I was trading, but I was on an island, so I was trading, but at the same time, my team already knew what was going on, and we already had the trade, so I already put the team in the trade, and we had our levels already predetermined before then. But yeah, so that was great. That was great. Did anybody else have anything else they wanted to share before I move on? I mean, because again, these meetings are always pretty quiet, and then yeah, because I depending on so just make sure y'all use these times to if you need clarification on things or just questions about stuff, because again, I will get questions about the price levels and different things throughout the week that we don't get because people are here and not pretty much but again,
I do have one question.
Sure, what's up?
How do you determine the levels?
Yeah, so that's it's based on, so I'm gonna show you a chart in a second. Yeah, because that type of question,
That's a little one-on-one-ish.
yeah, so I mean, so questions about, so so I'm about to go to some charts in a second. So you'll see like so every chart has its own levels, based off of, just, I guess it depends on what type of levels we're playing, because like a matter of fact, I'm just going to say it like this, because I'm gonna always go back. It starts at support and resistance. So answering that question, basically, it's like it's support and resistance. That's literally the base of my question. I'm gonna answer that because like that's the honest question. That's the honest answer, direct answer to the question. They're based off support and resistance. You know what I mean? Unless I'm trading like a some sort of pattern or something like that, or some sort of uptrend or downtrend channel or something like that. All of my levels are based off of support and resistance. So that's the broad, the direct answer. So just to give you a
Thank
clean
you.
answer.
Appreciate that.
No problem. So support and resistance. So now I'm gonna say this now to everybody. So there's no, and y'all know this, one of my favorite things to say. There is no escaping support and resistance. So you got this textbook, right, that they give you in elementary school that got all of the math subjects in there, and it starts with adding and subtracting. It goes to multiplication, then it goes to division, then fractions, right? Then fractions. So you can skim through that whole book all you want to try to hurry up and get to multiplication, because multiplication was fun. Everybody wanted to multiply, right? And but when it's time to problem solve, if you don't really know that 1 + 1, you probably read it, 1 + 1 = 2, and 2 - 1 = 1, right? But do you really understand how that works? Like the concepts of adding and subtracting, right? Okay, cool. So now you move on to multiplication, right? And now, like, oh, you know that 9 times 9 is 81. You know that 8 times 8 is 64. You know these things because you hear them all the time. But when it's time to do the math and you're in the field and it's like, well, like I said, Sally had 10 apples and she gave Bobby 5. How many does she have left? And now you don't know because you skipped multiplication and you didn't agonize over those adding and subtracting problems to make sure you really understood it first before moving on. And that's what's going to hurt a whole lot of traders. So when I say support and resistance, a lot of people run away from that, but don't move on past support and resistance because I'm going to tell you, moving past support and resistance before you're ready, it's just going to, you're not going to be ready. Number one, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. You're going to lose a lot of money. You may get discouraged from trading, and nobody's going to respect you in the trading world either, because it's like we putting a lot of work in here. So start with support and resistance. We got a channel in here that's dedicated to all of this stuff that could actually help everybody in here in the option, in the learning and the learning materials. Just start there and really work that stuff from the bottom. Don't try to skip the line because this is just look at it like football or anything else that people take really seriously. You got the top players that come to practice and they really reading that playbook and everything and they studying it. They got their cleats on, they ready to go. And then you come to practice every day with your tennis shoes on, talking about you taking it seriously, right? Nobody's gonna take you seriously, and you're not gonna get far without your cleats, right? So support and resistance, man. Everybody start with support and resistance. And again, like I do have the books open. If anybody want a book, any coachings and stuff like that, that's fine too. But to help out with the process. But support and resistance is the footwork of all of this. If your footwork ain't right, you ain't nothing, So support and resistance, that's everything. So yeah. But yeah, that was a good question because I was gonna find my way back to support and resistance anyhow. And but yeah, so we got some economic data this week, man. I'm gonna go into that before we get into some charts, man. And so obviously, y'all, I told y'all we got a lot of tariff news over the weekend, and so some of it seems pretty bullish. But we're gonna have to see how the overall market responds to it. So we'll get those market reactions tomorrow. We'll probably get some of it tonight, but you got to take that with a grain of salt, depending on how much of a move we get, right? And so then we got Tuesday, we got imports, exports, pricing index. We got the New York manufacturing index. Wednesday, we got retail sales data, very important. We got Powell speaking. They sending Powell back out there on Wednesday. So Powell's coming out there to talk about monetary policy again. So he's going to move the market, coming out there at 1:15 on Wednesday. So just be watch out for that. Thursday we got building permits, we got housing starts, jobless claims, we got Philly Fed manufacturing index Thursday, and then we got 10% of the S&P 500 reporting earnings this week. Markets closed on Friday, so we got a pretty big week ahead of us, a big but short week ahead of us. So there'll be a lot of catalysts for moves, but Powell and Trump are the main the key drivers of the market, as you guys can see over the last few weeks. So let's just hop into things. I'm going to start with, if we were already talking about QQQ, I'm going to start there. I start there at QQQ, right? And let me do that one sec. And go back here. Excuse this on here. I just those lines kind of transferred. But so much. I got a lot of levels in this chart. So now you see we were closing in on a def cross here on the on QQQ. It's almost at a def cross. We got it's bear flagging here. It's bear flagging, and we got a def cross forming right here. We got the 200 moving average. I'm sorry, the 50 moving average about the cross below the 200 moving average right here. intersecting right here now. So if that actually happens, we get a death cross, and that's a really bearish sign. But it looked like we could be trying to reverse. We'll see what actually happens. As you can see, we got was that a double inside? Let me just see something. Hold on one second. No, it's not. That's a two. Okay. No, it's not. Okay. So we got what is that? A 212 right here. We reclaimed the non-EMA. But again, even if this is a bear flag, it can move up a little bit before coming down. It could possibly come back up, reject the this 200-day EMA, and then come down. But right now, if you're just looking for trades, just for now, what I would do, how I would play this is I would if we clear that 455.79, we could possibly with volume, obviously. So we clear that with volume, look for a move back up there to I will be looking for 463. I'm sorry, 468. Move back up to 468 for on the call side. Now, if we were to lose that 441 area, look for a move back down to 436.81, and then possibly down to 430, and then possibly even lower down to 425. So there's a lot of levels that we could retest if it was to, and obviously even lower if that was to happen. But it looked like it's going to be based on what the market gives us next week or this week coming up here. As you can see, still in a bearish reaction here in the downtrend. Market still coming down, but this was some pretty good significant volume that came in last week. So let's just see if we can get a reversal, man. Again, let's see what Trump is ready to do with the market. Basically, we're at the mercy of Trump and the Fed right now. So we will see how that plays out with QQQ. And so far, again, it don't matter what we want to happen. We're going to follow the price action. Whatever the market gives us, that's what we're going to trade. We're going to trade what the market gives us. Now I'm gonna go back to gold here. We talked about gold a few weeks in a row here, and I'm gonna go to a lower time frame, but I want y'all to just see this. What happened? We talked about this here when it was gapping, it was moving up here, and then we got the move back down here to the 50, and then it started gapping back up, right? Again, right? So a lot of times when there's turmoil in the market, you go to defensive stocks or you go to commodities and stuff like that. So people go buy gold, so you can buy options on the ETF on this on the GL, sorry, not ETF, on the GLD right here, this ETF. And you can see how it finished with a doji on Friday. Again, I felt like where the market was, I felt like that we would probably get some good news over the weekend. And so I was thinking about swinging gold puts. I didn't alert that to the team because it was a lot of things going on heading into the close. So I didn't, but we'll see exactly. It could still be a move. It could we'll see what gold does, but there's definitely something to keep on watch. It's at all-time highs right now. You know how I feel about that, but that doesn't really mean anything if the market continues to go down, right? Whether we're in all-time highs or not, it won't really make a difference if the market is in shambles, right? So they'll just keep dumping money into gold and it'll continue to move. But yeah, I think this is time for it to come down now, at least come back down here and retest the breakout area right here before continuation up. But if it lose that area, we can possibly get a move back down. So I would just keep an eye on gold. If it was to lose that 296.81, then make a move back down. Again, we'll see if because again, we're at all-time highs. So when we're at all-time highs, we got we're in price discovery, and we don't have any previous price to go off of, right? So we got this gap fill here, but I'm saying, like, if it was to come back just down and retest the uptrend, the breakout of the uptrend, then it may not necessarily fill the gap, right? So we got that to worry about too. So just watch it, or it could just or we can get a move back up to the upside and continue higher over 300. So I would just say over that 297, over that 299.27, look for a move up to 300 and then possibly even further. But yeah, this is gold right here. Looks a little extended here. At least give us a retest first. That'd be a nice move. That's why I was looking at those 295s And that was the strike that I was looking for the team last week, but again, did not alert the trade. Let me go here over to, no, before I get there, let me go ahead and hit SPY. SPY, similar situation to QQQ, just wanted to make sure I hit it. You know, as you can see here, we got this same move. We got a bullish engulfing on QQQ though, as you can see here. This candle right here fully engulfed the body of this one here, and we reclaimed the 9 EMA. So I'm looking for the same. Let me get some of these off of here, man. It's just so many levels, so many old levels on this chart. Should have used my clean chart for this one, but it's all good. But yeah, so here we go. So for QQQ, I'm sorry, for SPY, if we can clear that 536.43, look for a move back. What did I say? 536.43. Man, as you can see, real quick before I give you all these levels, we got a lot of movement on what was that? Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, Wednesday, because of the idea of when Trump announced that he would do the 90-day pause on most the tariffs on most countries or whatever, and we got that the biggest move, 1-day move, and since 2008, right? And so that's just a big move. That's a big move that we got right there. So, and then we got we inside here, and then we broke out a little bit, but so we got some move. There's a lot of price that can move here, that the stock market can move, and that SPY, this ETF that tracks the S&P 500, can move. So just don't be afraid to trade it based off of what the market is giving you, right? Obviously, we look for the setups on this higher time frame, and I mean we find that the bigger move, and see what the terrain looks like on this bigger the bigger time frame, and then we go find our setup on a smaller time frame and a lower time frame. But right now it looks good so far. I like the bullish engulf, and obviously we're gonna wait and get some momentum. So if we do clear that 536.43, then I think we can make a nice move here, back above 540, then back over 545, 62, and so on, right? So just that's something just to keep on watch. If we were to lose that 520, we probably make a move back down there and retest that 512.80, and then prop down 11.36, and so on. So again, it's a lot of volatility. Now, I want to tell y'all something also. Everything isn't always about the setup too on the larger time frame now, because you'll see a lot of things get invalidated. I talk about this a lot during my coachings and stuff, that when you're back testing and you looking at it, you're trying to back test the setup, and you say, well, damn, what happened here? Why didn't that follow this? Sometimes you have to go back and look and see if there was any economic data that came out, or something that happened in the market that day that could have caused price to act uncharacteristically that day, right? So you're going to get sometimes where things don't look as clean as they should have looked, but don't let that discourage you. See exactly what was going on. It's almost like if I get into a trade, a meta trade or something, because I saw a substantial bull flag with everything, all of my other levels of confluence in play, right? And then the trade just breaks down because a headline came out. That's not going to make me lose confidence in the next time I see that setup and everything falls in place, right? So, but yeah, so the same thing. You're gonna, some things, it may look great and everything may be great, but then you get a headline or something that can throw things off. So just don't let those things stop you or slow you down. Just keep on doing what you're doing, and keep moving. Keep moving. So you see a lot of these ETFs. So now this is IWM, an ETF that tracks the Russell 2000, the small cap stocks, and a sector that's pretty bad right now, you know, especially when there's turmoil. One of the first things people do is they jump out of the small cap stocks because they don't have the market cap and the free cash flow to sustain the turmoil or whatever. But right now, this looks just like the other ETFs right now, you see, because all of the stocks and everything was moving off the same news, the same headlines for the last week or so, tariff related, right? So everything looks pretty much the same. But this one, we got a double inside on this one. So we got what is it? Yeah, 311 here on 311 here on IWM. And so, and again, it's hard to read. It's hard to read because there's a lot going on. But you can see this. both of these candles are inside of this candle right here. And so these are two inside candles right here. So we got a double inside candle. The longer the consolidation, the bigger the move. So the longer the price coils in here, the bigger the move when it finally breaks out. So I would just encourage everybody to still keep IWM on watch. Although it's been a little choppy lately, but like if we clear that that's sort of that 184.85. I think we could probably get back up to 187, but watch it there. We possibly reject off of there if we don't get any momentum past there. If we were to lose that 178.58, 178.58, look for a move back down there to 177.5 and then 175, and then possibly even lower down to 171.73. So yeah, that's IWM. It's bear flagging. A lot of this stuff is bear flagging, as you can see here. So just keep it on watch, but bear flags. If the market goes another way, again, we can get a breakout. But right now everything is bear flagging. Looks pretty standard based across everything on the market right now, based off of the tariffs. But yeah, I like these types of setups because if it breaks down, we get a nice move on this with volume. So we're gonna keep it on watch. All right, so now let me move on to some more good stuff. Now we got these ETFs out of the way. So Goldman Sachs, right? See, look at all of these look the same, man. Look just like the ETFs, right? Everything looks the same. Everything's bear flagging. So, same thing here. But Goldman Sachs, so the thing about Goldman Sachs, man, y'all know this one of my favorite financial stocks to trade. So, and we got a nice little broadening formation here, although we got the bear flag happening too. We still got a little broadening formation here on Goldman Sachs. And they report earnings tomorrow morning. So like around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, Goldman Sachs report earnings. And this is what we're looking at right now. This is how it's looking now. This could be a pretty nice move. We will see how things play out. I like the setup here. Let me just 1 second, zoom out for a sec. This is what Goldman Sachs looks like right now. This is what it looks like. This is how it finished. This is how we are sitting right now. Let me just duplicate this one. Yeah. So we got Goldman Sachs, man. The chart looks great. Chart looks great. I mean, every chart tells a story. You can see here, it's right here. It bounced off a level that it's been holding for a while. That's been respecting for a while here, and took off. I'm gonna clear. Y'all gotta excuse my chart, man. I've been trading this stock for a long time, so I got a lot of levels. So I was trying to put it on a chart that didn't have these much levels. And I'm gonna actually switch to my clean chart. As a matter of fact, I know what I'll do. Hold on. I think this may be let me make this my clean over here. Maybe that'll work. All right, it's cool. It's cool. It doesn't matter. It was meta too early. That meta chart is telling a story, but we can get to meta in a minute. All right, so Goldman Sachs, back to Goldman Sachs, man. So here we go. This is my other chart, man, on Goldman. Again, like I said, I like the way Goldman looks here, and we could possibly get some nice moves here on this stock heading into this upcoming week. So if we got an inside, so this is double inside on Goldman Sachs also, just like we had on IWM, double inside, holding under the 9 EMA. Now, look, we got we heading into a death cross here. We're not quite there, right? And so, but again, the chart looks good. Chart looks good to me. So what I'm looking for right now is if on tomorrow, depending on what happens tomorrow, because and I hope that Goldman goes in the direction of the market. whatever the tariffs and everything happens, I hope it'll obviously be good for that too. But I hope, let's see what Goldman does. I mean, JP Morgan, they beat on the top line and the guidance. It was modest, but we'll see what Goldman does. So if what I'm looking for Goldman is a nice move, if we're able to get and again, it's just a regular trade, because I don't think that Goldman's going to open here where we are right now. So I don't want to play that game. So I'm gonna go back to this weekly for a second, and then we're gonna work our way down because oh yeah, I got levels here. I got levels there. Cool. All right. So excuse my chart. Like I said, I had levels on my regular chart. I try my best not to I don't like to have on my clean chart, I don't want to put too many levels on it. So that's why I'm trying to keep it clean. But it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, so for Goldman, man, I'm like right now we closed at 490, what is it? 494? Yeah, around 494 on Friday. So like I'm looking for, hopefully we can get, if it's a bullish earnings print, if it's a bullish print, then I'm looking for a move north of 520. So, we got a few levels there. We got a few levels up here. So like my first, I would say, obviously we got 513 there. I think we're gonna clear that. So 520, we got 520, but then right before the gap fill area, right at the top of the gap, the bottom of the gap fill area, 525 is right there. And then we got 540 right under the 200 EMA, right there at the 200 EMA. That's where I will be looking for if we get a bullish print on Goldman Sachs' earnings. Like I don't really want to mark this chart up because, like I just said a second ago, but I'm just gonna put a few. I'll clean it later. Yeah, but if they would have missed, I hope it's a miss and a guide down if that does happen. Because then if we were to do that, then like I said, it closed at that 494 area. We would probably get a nice move all the way down. First target would probably be around the around 460, and then 450 and 439. So it's just we got a few levels that we can actually hit if that was to actually happen. So, but again, right now we're in a range. You see, it was a big move up off of that tariff news. Came down here, hit the lows, bounced off of that, and yeah. So we could get a nice. So it's just a lot to take in, but it's all based off of, it's going to be based off of earnings. So that's why I didn't give y'all traditional levels on this, because it's not going to open anywhere near these levels tomorrow. Shouldn't open anywhere near those levels tomorrow. So we'll see what actually happens. Now, if again, I would love for a nice earnings print and a continuation, I mean, up to the upside. I'm going to tell you why, because look at where, hold on. Just a second. All right, 1 second. All right, make sure it's a lot going on this chart, and even on the other one. Yeah, okay, I got it there. Okay, cool. Yeah, I keep forgetting I switched charts, so I switched over to the other chart. But you see right here, we just reclaimed this area. We're right in the middle of it, I'll say, in this zone here, this price zone. So again, everything is based off our earnings tomorrow, so it's hard to kind of give too much of a typical price move on this, right? We should probably get like a $40 move though, if it does what it's supposed to do. And or we can possibly retest back down here. I mean, again, either way, I'll be ready for whatever happens, because again, wherever we move now, let's say Goldman does open over 420, over 525, then we know the first target would be to try to fill this gap here up here, and it lines up with the 200 EMA. That's going to be hard to break through unless they get a really strong earnings. So then our next target after there would be 558.94. So but now if we would but the downside is more, I'll say more, it could be forgiven as long as we hold a certain area. So like, hold on. If we come down here and we respect this area here like we did before, then that's cool. But if we lose that area, you know, Flushing Meadows down to 420 and then a 400, you know, so but yeah, so we'll see. But it's all whatever we're gonna follow the price action, whatever the price action gives us, that's what we're gonna follow, right? So it's a big move down if that happens because the structure had been broken a long time ago, but we came and we bounced off of a key level. So again, this is gonna be a big stock to watch tomorrow morning because definitely gonna be a big stock to watch. Y'all know how we play Goldman, so if it yields, I'm off on Mondays, but I'll be around for Goldman. So if Goldman yields us a move, then I'll be around and we'll be here to trade it together. Now, listen, like I said, we're going to see what the overall market does because again, we got a lot going on in the market. But I'm trying to stay focused on just a few things. Now I'm gonna hit y'all. I got a few things to hit. I ain't gonna keep y'all too much longer, but I got a few things that I gotta hit because I got so many DMs about Netflix, so I'm gonna have to talk about it. And plus, I just gotta make sure my team ain't out here crashing and burning. So we're gonna have to hit a few things. So just let me cook a little bit. Let me just get my charts together. Second, y'all good? Y'all follow me? We all right?
Yep, follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we good, man. Over here taking notes, marking charts, man. You know.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, my guy Drew on here.
Hey, if you get a chance, can we go over Apple?
Yeah.
Oh, we back to Apple. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Stick to the rivers and lakes. I love it.
And Apple looks smooth right now. So let's see if I can. He got it charted up.
Yeah, I mean, but post that chart. Post that chart too. You know, I like seeing other charts too. But yeah, because we over. I'm gonna hit Apple because it's an important stock to hit this week, especially with one of those tariffs that came out. I mean, one of the updates on the tariffs as far as you know, the administration exempting smartphones, computers, and chips and other electronics from new tariffs. So that's beneficial to everybody. You know, that's beneficial to all of those. The big tech, they probably got you know, they had to put some heat on Trump. You know, so yeah, that's a good one. But anyhow, let me just move on. But yeah, Goldman Sachs, I spent a lot of time on it because that's going to be my top priority tomorrow morning. So I'll be, if we get a move, Goldman can give us a move and them contracts print, but they can be pricey too, especially depending on what the IV is looking like. And if they keep it up, if they keep it elevated. So yeah, Goldman, I was going somewhere. It was somewhere I was going. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit APP first. I gotta
He
get
was gonna
mine.
do Netflix.
Yeah, no, I got Netflix lined up. Hey, Matt, I'm telling you, Matt, if you touch Netflix, if you try to play Netflix for earnings, man, you likely gonna get clapped up. So just wait for Netflix, man.
I wasn't planning on it.
I got you. Look, I'm telling y'all, like we got a move for Netflix already lined up. And so I mean, I'm not saying, as a matter of fact, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna till I get to Netflix. Let me stick to APP. Yeah, no, I'm just I'm kidding. I'm bothering you, man. I don't know you planning on doing that. I like this. I love a falling wedge, man. A falling wedge is a bullish setup right now. Everything is bear flag, and we still see a little bear flag in there, right? But you know, the main pattern, the big pattern that I'm seeing right here is a falling wedge, and we like falling wedges, right? Because falling wedges are bullish patterns, you know, and yeah, and it's right there at its 200 EMA, just below its 9 EMA. It's just like the perfect storm. We just need a little bit of momentum and a breakout with some nice volume, and there we go. Here for APP, favorite chart right now, for just right now at this moment. And it's set up really nicely. So let's just look at it. Let's look at it for a second. Now, this ain't my chart with all my levels on it, so I'm not gonna mark it up too much. But I'm just gonna put a few levels on here, some of the main levels that I am watching for at Loving. Then we can go ahead and move forward, right? So, but the thing is, you know, app loving is cool. I like app loving. I like APP. I think it's a great it trades well. It trades well when it's in play, but it can get you really catch you up really good because it's extremely volatile and it's very expensive. Extremely volatile and very expensive. So be careful trading app loving. This gap up here, and I'm gonna clean this up a little bit because I'm having some difficulty seeing this a little bit. All right, that's cool. There we go. All right, a little better. So yeah, rising wedge, man. I mean, falling wedge, man. Bullish pattern. Now it still has some room. Now you see, just because we got this wedge pattern, right, doesn't mean that it breaks out here. You know, it can still come back down and retest. I like the, you know, like the highest probability. It rejects up here. We got a 2-2-2 reversal here. I'm sorry, a 3. Is that a 3-1-2? Yeah, that's a 3-1-2 reversal right here. But it held the 200 EMA, but just under the 9 EMA. So we'll see how app loving plays. But if we were to lose that 239, look for 239. Yeah, lose 239, look for a move back down here, right? So I would look for a back move back down here to 227, right? Now it could bounce off this area. It could bounce off this area, but if not, then we drop even lower, you know, down here back to 200. And then that would take us to the bottom of this area. I mean, it could continue to move and bounce off of this. Now, if we were to clear, now personally, what I don't like to, when a stock is consolidating or back into a wedge or something like this, I like to get us some margin and clear. But App Lovin is one of them stocks that move a lot. So without, even if it breaks out a little bit, right? This is a daily chart. That doesn't mean that you get a clean breakout. You can get a head fake and it comes back down. Obviously, you're going to be trading it on a lower time frame. So I'm just giving y'all the overall on this, right? So if we were to clear that 263, sorry, 263. Make sure it's 260. Yeah, 263. Then my next target for app loving, making sure my chart is right. I mean, my 263. Sorry, just making sure because I got a lot going on in this chart here. Yeah, 263 over 263. Looking for a move back up there to 288. That would be my target on this for 288. If we were to clear that 263, look for 288 and then over 288, then we get 303 and so on, right? But this would be if we get a close. Now listen, because App Loving is an interesting stock. Let's just say hypothetically, right? We get a close just over here, just barely over it or something like that, right? Or just over it here, but it doesn't really break out and just go too far. If we get a candle confirmation on a daily over this, you know what I mean? A breakout of this area, this wedge, then we got action, right? But the thing about App Loving is if we, depending on what happens, we can get some momentum and volume, and this thing could break out and go. We got some levels. I only marked a few levels on this chart, but the reason I like playing rising wedges is because they play out. And the crazy thing is, the best thing about this is we're on a higher time frame. So, you know, the moves are bigger. They're more parabolic on this type of setup. That's why I like the setup number one. It's a pretty big move. So just to give you some little, so, you know, that's a pretty big move that it could possibly make. You know, obviously it wouldn't make it all right away, but if we get that momentum, we need to get that MACD. It look like it's trying to turn a corner, but we'll see what actually happens. We get some volume and we can get a nice move on this for App Loving. So again, let's keep it on watch because this is one of those charts. And again, it can go to the other side, but no, this ain't remember, setups are to be played when based on what they, you know, how if they play out when they get triggered. You're not just gonna play it because you see it. You gotta wait till they get triggered, and then we could get a big move on App Loving. So anyway, I'm keeping it on watch. It's one of my charts of the week here. One of my charts of the week. App Loving. One of the charts of the week here. App Loving. Get Meta out the way. Nice setup on Meta too. So go to my weekly here on Meta first. So I mean, a lot of, like I showed y'all, man, it was a lot happening. You see how we finished with the week. Look at the volume here on Meta. And obviously, a lot of, I feel like in big tech as a whole, the Max 7 as a whole, I feel like it's oversold. I think it's oversold because a lot of these stocks, they had great they got great earnings. I mean, obviously Tesla's having some issues right now, but even Tesla's oversold if you know at this point. So I feel like people are going to start buying these stocks very soon. And if some people haven't already started buying, I mean, I'm not telling anybody what to do with their money. I'm just saying, like, it's just smart money. The people that move the market, they're probably already buying these stocks right now. I haven't marked the new area yet because I'm trying to show y'all something. So you see, this was the last breakout. This was the area right here. That was the area to break. We broke out and we got that move up, right? I mean, we broke out, sorry, a long time ago here. We came back down, retested this area, and then we lost it with the whole tariff stuff. We got back up, reclaimed it. We below the 9 EMA. We've been below the 9 EMA the whole time. If you look here, most of this move down, we were under the 9 EMA. We got this breakout up here for a little while, and then came back down under the 9 EMA, but it still was holding this breakout area until we got flushed back under, well, pushed back under here, and then it came back up and reclaimed it, right? So we back outside of that breakout that we had here for Meta, right? So I mean, we did get a 212, is that a 312 reversal here, and and it's still under the 9 EMA. And it was lower volume on Friday. It was a low volume choppy Friday just overall. Everybody saw that. So that's just something to keep an eye out for, just to see how this plays out. But I feel like Meta was oversold with a lot of other stocks, and it finished green, although it's still the setup isn't too good. Here, if we were to clear that well, let's say we were to lose that 528.59, we could possibly make a move back down to 500, right? So that's where I would be looking at for Meta, the 500. If we, go back down there and retest 500, and then possibly even lower if we were to do that. Now, I need Meta personally. I need Meta over 550.81. Meta over 550.81. Then we make a move to 561.74, 564.80. And then up to 575, this could be a nice move on Meta. But we have to clear over 575, then we got action, serious action. But Meta looks great right here. I mean, as far as just the setup is a bearish setup still. As far as just looking at the price action alone right there, but just at some point we get a reversal. And again, like I said, most of this happened because of what was going on with with the tariffs and stuff, but we'll see exactly if they're ready to start buying here. And also I got a level here, as you can see, it's trying to reclaim this area. This was a demand zone, so now we're going to see if it's supply here, or if because they wanted to buy. As you can see, when it came through here, it came back, retested this area, but then we got that move down. It's too much uncertainty going on in the market. And so yeah, but we'll see if we get that momentum shift. We're going to follow what the price gives us. I'm not moving that. I didn't move that level for a reason, but like I could have did the same thing here, just to showing you this right here. I just putting that there, but this level, I kept that there for a reason, to show where it broke out and we got this move. Now look at this, pay attention here though, because we could be getting a death cross here on Meta too. But yeah, we'll see. Everything right now is data driven and tariff based. So we will follow the price action and go from there. Now let me hop over to, I'm gonna hit Apple really quickly and then I'll do Netflix. Yeah, Apple chart looks good right here. We got that bullish engulfing here on Friday. We got a 212 reversal here. Will continue. It's almost like, but it's still holding. It just reclaimed this 9 EMA right here for that's the first 9 EMA. First time it closed over the 9 EMA in over since the second. So it's in over a week. Okay, looks good. I like the setup here. Chart looks great. And like I told you, a lot of the Max 7 were oversold anyway. Got a gap fill right here. Looked like it once. And it already started filling it, as you can see. But I just want to make sure that that just because some of these stocks, right? Just because some of these stocks they have, you got to think about what happened. I always call them market stress test. Like when the market is in a lot of turmoil, or you just get the market in a big sell-off or something like that, and you see how certain stocks are holding up. That's what I call the stress test or whatever. So that's how I feel about what Apple was doing. You can see that they were buying it. It was like it was too much selling. Like, come on, we're gonna buy. And I told you a lot of smart money and just people in general, like me, for example, on a lot of my favorite stocks. When Meta was running and Nvidia, everything was running. Everybody wanted. It's like the stock market's the only place where people don't want to buy things when they're not on sale, right? They want everything else on sale. But here, it's like I got levels. I'm like, okay, if Meta hits certain levels, no matter what's going on in the market, I'm gonna buy there. I got those psychological numbers. I got them numbers written down because I don't want my emotions to get the best of me when there's fear in the market. So I got levels where I'm like, damn, if we ever get to that price again, I'm buying. And it's a lot of people that got those levels. Then you got certain key demand zones where they just gonna buy it regardless, right? So same thing with Apple. So a lot of people just started buying when it hit certain levels because it just was oversold. So now we got a bullish engulf in here on Apple, and it closed over its 9 EMA. So if we were to clear, we were able to get over, let's get over 200. So back over 200, then we got a gap fill right here also at the target would be, sorry, the over 200. My first target would be 203.19. Then my second target would be 207. And so on. We got a lot of room for Apple to run. I got levels on here. Now, if we were to lose that 186.06, just lose 186, I would be looking for a move back down, possibly back down to 178.35. That's where I would be looking for. That would be my first target on Apple if we were to head down. And obviously, there are other levels lower than there, down all the way down to at least to 170. Then we got lower levels, but that's what I would be looking for right now on Apple if we were to but yeah, it looked like they're trying to buy that up, man, so far on Apple. So there we go for Apple. Let me just go ahead and hit Netflix. All right, so Netflix, man. So I feel like Netflix lately has been moving like a like a defense, like I would say they've been moving like a consumer staple or something like that. I feel like for some reason people they've been holding on to it. They've been holding on to it and they haven't been selling Netflix. And it's been making, so as you can see, it's been making some pretty significant moves. We got some yeah, that already goes. Yeah. This our daily chart is holding just under the 50 EMA. So this is really good. I mean, it's right there at its mean value. It's not overbought right now. It's sitting right there at a nice level. I feel like, normally Netflix, but I guess right now because the market is in the state that it's in, that a lot of stocks weren't at levels where they would typically be at. But Netflix being in the comm sector and having our earnings this week. So let me mark this level. Oh, so if you're trying to trade Netflix again, we got what does this say? A 312 right here on Netflix. We still holding under that 50. For calls over 944.86. My first target for that would be 953.67, then 966.97, and then 973.40. if we were to lose that 906.68, I was looking for a move back down to 887.51 and possibly down even lower of 880, 869.37. We got a lot of move down if it wanted to move down. You see where it bounced off the 200 EMA. I mean, this is a downtrend, but at the same time, like I said, it looked like a lot of it just looked like a lot of I like the setup on this, but you see this could be a long way down, or it could break out and make a move higher. Let me just go to the weekly chart for y'all for a second, just for some context. You see how it came down here and we got a nice bounce off of this area on the weekly. That was a nice move down here on here. Bounce, reclaim most of that, and now we're up here. So I mean, there's some levels here. It's still in this range, but there's a nice opportunity for Netflix to possibly make a move. And again, either way, you can make a move either way. They're pricing in like an $85 move on Netflix. Now, do I believe that Netflix can make an $85 move? I don't see why not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really see why not. But there's the two caveats for you on this one. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh man, that's an interesting one. I just thought about something. Wow. Okay, hold on. I gotta think for a second. Wow. Oh yeah, so this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be very interesting. So y'all know, like I said, so the thing is, there's this Netflix has earnings on the 17th, right? Which is a Thursday. I don't like Thursday Netflix earnings. I mean, that's just a little superstition thing, you know what I say, but the fact that the market is closed on Friday. So, you know, that's a little different where that's different right there. So that was a little different right there. I mean, again, Netflix may be a great run-up trade. I think Netflix could be a great run-up trade, right? It can be a great earnings run-up trade, and we could possibly make some money trading this. But yeah, that's just a little different. It's a little interesting when the market is closed on Friday. So yeah. So that's just but do I think this could be a significant move? And let's see what the tariff situation what happens with the tariff situation on tomorrow. Maybe we'll learn something tonight with the Asian futures. We'll see, because that'll be the first reactions to what Trump has to say, what the White House talking about right now, and we can go from there. But yeah, the fact that they got earnings on Thursday and the market's closed Friday, that's a little different. But yeah, this could be a great run-up trade. So just look at the levels that I provided, and this could possibly be a nice run-up trade. You could get a pretty big move before then. So let's just see. And this will be a stock to watch. So again, I know we went over like 30 minutes on this, but I wanted to make sure I took some time with a few of these stocks. And if y'all have any questions, we could talk about it in the chat. Just make sure y'all keep them coming. And look forward to a great week, man. A short week, but a great week. I'll see y'all on the other side. Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Good luck.
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, Kwame
Yeah, enjoy
here.
y'all weekend.
Thank you so
Kwame
much.
showed up.